All right, guys, this is episode 14 of Pardon the Dashboard. I'm your host, Sergeant Merrill, along with my co-host Eric, also known as Aviator. Sweat was at a class today, so he wasn't able to make it. But with us today, we have Yosef, also known as Ukrainian Limbs, and he is part of some of the funniest skits that I've seen on YouTube. And he was also a big part of the commentator March Madness and that whole organization and getting that thing started. Joseph, why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel and what you got going on?
Well, wiggity wiggity, what up, y'all? I'm Ukrainian Limbs, and I'd say I'm a graduate of the Call of Duty commentating scene. And I just like to mess with people in real life. So at one point, I decided to fuse the idea of what I was doing with my channel with Call of Duty and bring it to real life videos. And now I just kind of troll people. I'm getting a master's degree in trolling right now, and I'm constantly, studying Call of Duty. So that's my art, and I'm always going to stick with that. I'm true to myself as a gamer. So I've kind of fused the two, and I've reached this awkward juxtaposition where I'm trolling people, but it's about COD, and I'd say I'm probably one of the first to do it. I'm not like a pioneer of trolling in general, but I'm proud to have, pushed the commentating to another level. I see you with your beak hands. Get your beak hands out of here. You'll get your turn.
To give some context, okay, this is the first time we're in the live stream right now, and I actually have everybody's video on the screen. So I'm going to try and incorporate this into the YouTube video. It's probably going to drive me nuts. So if it doesn't happen this time, I'm going to figure it out. But we're all kind of looking at each other and just kind of giving each other funny looks. But
And
Yosef,
I
how
have to
did,
say, the way it's boxed together, though, it does look a bit like we're in the Brady Bunch, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. But as long as I can have pigtails, I'm fine with it.
all right, great. Yeah, I'll try and get a little Photoshop going on later. But Yosef, how did you get into commentating Call of Duty?
Oh, snap. Well, I was always a COD fiend since COD 3, but I started noticing videos around World at War, and I got COD, or I don't know, World at War in November 2009. I started seeing people putting up videos, and I knew immediately, like, based on the caliber that they were, I was good enough to start doing the same. And the idea of letting, those great moments just slip by, it just kind of bothered me, and I had to capture those great moments. And that's why I got my dazzle, and it all went out from there.
All right, all right. And one of the biggest things that you're a part of right now has been, and also one of the funniest, has been you using your Call of Duty, what would you call it, career as a resume, and actually going to these hiring firms and
Mhm.
and trolling them. So
Okay.
so what was the inspiration for this? And tell us a little bit about this series.
Okay, well, I it all started with the Call of Duty resume thing I was doing, where I made a resume, like a professional-looking resume with all the things I'd ever accomplished in Call of Duty, and I posted that to different job websites, and I would post prank calls of me following up with employers about, my qualifications and just talking about a real job, except entirely about my Call of Duty experience. And at one point, I threw out this ridiculous goal to have, this many people say, I want to see a real life video. And to be honest, to be perfectly honest, I had no intention of ever going to that Call of Duty interview, except somehow word got out about these things. I don't know, Team Noble, some other people, they started chatting about it. And all these people were like, oh, we got to see the real life interview. And then I ultimately did it, and people really liked it. And I've just kind of been rolling with it. I'm still learning the art of, real life trolling. I'm still a student, like I said, but I think people have really been receptive to it, and really liked it because, I mean, commentary is entertaining and all, but I think it's a first to see more done with the game like that.
Well, can you tell me, because you really stay in character the entire time. Can you tell
Uh,
me what are some of the tips if somebody wanted to do this themselves? What would you recommend for them to be able to do that?
Okay, well, definitely. I mean, just like anything else, I was very nervous the first time around. If you look at the first interview I had in person, the first couple minutes, I'm really like actually nervous, and I'm just like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, what if this guy sees that camera? What if they call the police? What if I'm like accused of falsifying information or all this? I don't know. And eventually, after you do enough times, you're like, you realize, it's kind of how I live my life in general. I know I'm never going to see these people again. I might as well just go all out and make a fool of myself and see what happens for the
I gotta be
entertainment.
honest, man. I gotta be honest. The first video you put out where you were trolling the interview, I
Mhm.
was genuinely waiting for you to walk away in handcuffs. Like that was gonna be the finale. Was Limbs walking away into the back of a squad car, carried out. I was waiting for it because, really, I mean, if you did that to me and you had a little video camera rocking out, I would be so pissed. I'm seriously
I,
impressed. And
I was
also your
equally
quad
scared.
contest. Can we talk about the quad contest that you pulled off? Because this
Okay.
was ridiculous. All right, so for those of you who don't know, there's a guy on YouTube called Operator Perry. Now, Operator Perry, I think this is his second year running, where he's asking people to go into quiet areas and scream with a multitude of people, mind you, with people around, and scream quad. And of course, Ukrainian Limbs in all his glory decided that it would be the right idea to go to a baseball game dressed as a giant hot dog, wearing no underpants.
How
I
did
don't
you
know
know
about
that?
that. I don't know if the last part's true or not, but he's wearing a giant hot dog costume, and he goes out right to the center of the field, basically. You're right on the edge, right by the dugout,
Yeah.
screaming quad. I mean, come on, man, that's incredible. I cannot believe you didn't get arrested for that.
You know what the initial idea was to do it during the national anthem
I'm so
because
glad
that's
you
the
Oh
didn't, because
quietest
God.
that you
time.
might get arrested for
And
treason
then
for
I was
that.
thinking, that's really bad. I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A lot of people would throw glass bottles, and I'm in the lower deck. I'd probably get knocked out. I'd get knocked out. So I decided, I'll wait till afterwards, and then we'll just disturb everyone's game for a second. And actually, after doing that, we were in the wrong section. I didn't get it. People saw me get escorted out later, but it wasn't because I was loud. It's because we snuck into that section. Those are like $300-$400 tickets. I had a $6 like fourth level ticket, and I was
Those are my
down
favorite
there.
tickets, by the way. There's $6 fourth level tickets. Like I've had like 14th row, half court for basketball games. I'd rather be up in the nosebleeds, dude. It's fun. Like
With
being
the
up in the
common
nosebleeds,
folk.
oh, it's great.
Yeah. So
People are
that's
way
what
more excited about the game when you're up in the top rows.
definitely. So
But really quick, I want to go ahead and move past the spy cam thing. As you know, on PTY, we try to keep things as brief as possible. And we actually want to talk about something near and dear to your heart. I know that your only gaming system right now is the best in the world, according to you. It's the finest targeting, the best shooting. Yeah, the Wii. And given the fact that you have a Wii, I want to ask you a bit about your thoughts on E3, this huge gaming conference. I want to talk to you about kind of what your thoughts are on the whole E3 debacle with Kinect and Wii U and all these kind of I don't even know, man. I watched a bit of the Kinect thing and I couldn't handle much more. So explain to me your thoughts on how gaming is changing with the use of actual movement, and if you think it will overpower thumbsticks or if you think that thumbsticks are here to stay.
okay. Good question, by the way. Anyways, I think it's hard for us to fathom how people would want to, use Kinect or Wii because we're so into COD, and it just seems silly to us. But I think for the most part, I don't think we're their target. I really don't. I think it's, younger working professionals. I have my hip friends over. We're gonna play Wii and have a few drinks. Listen
Wait,
to
wait,
the
wait, wait. Let's back
Shins.
this up. Let's back this up for a second. You have hip friends?
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about people more your age, the older crowd. But I don't
Oh,
think it's
that
for
was a
us.
burn.
I think it's personally silly. I've played first-person shooters. Like, if you guys ever played The Conduit or any Call of Duty for Wii, it's like waving a floppy dildo at the screen, and you have no control over anything. It's like you're on a wave runner just waving a dildo around. You have no control over anything. It's despicable, and first-person shooters will never catch on. I think, the cute little working out stuff will catch on for some people, especially females, but as far as attracting our group of hardcore gamers, no way any floppy dildo motion will ever be used to pull off a 360 no scope in my mind.
I
Okay.
will say this, though. I will say this really quick, and Meryl, I think you'll agree with me. If all the big commentators, we all kind of unite, right? And we put together Wii gameplay with live action videos of us doing floppy dildo 360 no scopes, that would be viral, like in a heartbeat. Viral. That would be
No,
awesome.
and see, that's a problem because this goes into my embarrassing story I have. I just
Oh
got
no!
oh
Make it
yes.
stop.
I just got the Connect yesterday, okay? And I'm like,
Oh.
this is great. I set it up in my living room, moved all the furniture out of the way, and there I am, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm wearing just my underwear, and I'm doing the little boxing game that they have. And I'm going to town, man. I'm like, going to town playing boxing. And then the game's over, and I'm like, yeah, that was fun. Who are the pictures of this guy? oh shit. It takes pictures of you while you're playing. And I looked at that and I'm like, I'm never fucking playing this again.
It automatically tags you on Facebook too, like
I'm like,
immediately.
that's so weird. I'm like, they have a weird guy in his underwear flopping his fat all around. I'm like, who's this guy? Oh,
Would you mind uploading that video? Because I
never,
really need
never.
something.
In fact, I almost destroyed my Connect at that very moment.
It's the next Star Wars kid. The next Star
I'm
Wars
telling
kid.
you.
Would be too. I could totally see that happening. Well, in the interest of time, I want to go ahead and bounce forward here because I know we have two more major topics to talk about. And Meryl, I'll let you take this one away. You introduce it, man.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the COD Empire, as we're going to call this topic, basically because COD is the game, as we were talking about before. It is the first person shooter that is dominating the first person shooter market. It's setting the standards for the first person shooter market, and you're going to have a lot of people that are going to argue this point, but you just have to look at the numbers. Call of Duty is taking over, and we wanted to talk about why. So, Joseph, what's your opinion on this?
Like Eric was saying this actually earlier, I think a big reason that COD is because anyone can pick up a controller and become a mediocre player very quickly. You can become mediocre, and then if you invest an incredible amount of time, you can reach the next level. But it's not that hard to be a decent player, especially with all the little trinkets you can use, especially with all the hammies and the gimmies they give you, like tubes and stuff like that.
Well, and I think
Meh.
calling them mediocre players is one thing, but I think breaking it away from mediocre and saying that it's instead of calling them a mediocre player, call them occasional heroes. And I think that's why we all play first-person shooters anyway, is because we want to have the ability to be better than the rest, to be something that's really worthwhile. And a lot of us, especially because it's mainly males that play this game, we have a hero complex. We want to be good, you know? And COD makes it really easy to be a hero, even if it's only for a moment. And that's kind of cool.
It's more for the casual player, you know. A lot of people will pick up a Call of Duty game and they'll go on multiplayer, and your job is to kill other people, and you have a small enough map to figure out how to do it. With games like Battlefield, there's some serious objectives and some serious teamwork strategies that you need to start incorporating into your gameplay if you're going to be successful. And I think a lot of your more casual players have a hard time wrapping their head around that.
This is true. I mean, it does take strategy. And I mean, to play COD successfully, I would counter that you have to have good strategy, good team strategy, good personal strategy, and whatnot. But again, it is much as a new Battlefield player, it's much tougher to get into Battlefield and feel like a hero until you have the best weapons in the game, which take 100 hours of gameplay to get those, and that's kind of a challenge. It's kind of an interesting to think about, though, because I think that COD holds this monopoly because no matter how casual the player, like I have friends that play COD that they may play an hour every 2 weeks, and they buy the games. They're super excited about them as soon as they get them. They're super stoked to be there and to have this new experience. But the truth is, it's it's really they're horrible players. They're 0.5 KD, but they feel good about it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a question for you, Joseph. What do you think Call of Duty needs to continue to do to hold their dominance?
I think what they've been doing with the newer map packs, with the interaction with the variables in the map, is the coolest thing. And I think if they push that, that's a whole new level. There was one game they were showcasing, I forget what it's called, but you have like chainsaws, and you can go through like different textures and stuff and like strategically plow your way through a map. I think map interactivity is the next thing for sure. And I think they're going to do that with Modern Warfare 3, and it's going to really take it to the next level, I hope. But I think that's definitely it.
It's interesting you say that. Like, Battlefield's had this destructible environment for two different episodes now. They're Battlefield Bad Company and Bad Company 2. And as much as I like the concept, I think part of the beauty of COD is the reliability of cover. I find myself in situations often in Battlefield where I'm trying to duck behind cover and stay alive, and all of a sudden a tank shoots it and I die. And I think interactability with cover can be cool. But I think COD's doing that now in a small scale with the zip lines and the doors that open and close and things like that become kind of a gimmick. Battlefield, I think if they're going to try to get to the next level where they're actually having destructible environments and whatnot, it might be doable, but it could be kind of a challenge. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they have to really go all the way, up to fully destructible environments where the maps have to literally, you have to worry about guys who are going to go through with, especially with COD-sized maps, and just destroy the entire map so it's a flat playing field? I mean, that's... That's worrisome.
You don't have to go all out. I think gimmicks are enough. I really like the concept of the gimmicks because that's what makes the game fun for me. The fact that I spent a week of my time on Modern Warfare 2 trying to trap someone with a riot shield in a corner. I love the gimmicks. That's what I play it for. And I mean, can you put a claymore in an elevator and then shoot the elevator up or down in Battlefield? Like, can you do stuff like that? I don't play it so much, so if at all, aka I've never played Battlefield, but
Well, on that note, let's talk about Battlefield 3.
Yeah, that's going to make this next topic very interesting.
Because I want to get Ukrainian Lim's thoughts on Battlefield 3 now that we know he's never played Battlefield.
No, I'm trolling. I'm actually check the leaderboards.
No, I mean, what are your thoughts, Meryl? Because I've been kind of wrapped up in Battlefield the last month. I bought Battlefield 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2, I should say, and I had never really played Battlefield before that.
I played the original Battlefield, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was one of the first games to really drag you in and keep you. And after seeing Battlefield 3 on E3, man, I'm sold. I'm sold on some of these graphics. They look incredible. They were showing this one segment of you playing as a tank, and it was just tank warfare, all out tank warfare. You're a tank against their tanks, and it looked so realistic. It is the best looking game that I've seen, and also they're going to be incorporating some things into it that have needed to come for a while, especially when people start talking about realistic gameplay. One of the biggest things that has attracted me so far has been suppressing fire. They're going to give it a point. Right now, suppressive fire has absolutely no point whatsoever. You start putting bullets down range and you don't hit anybody, it does nothing but give away your position. With Battlefield 3, they're talking about if you mount your fully automatic weapon and start laying down suppressive fire, it's going to start deteriorating their accuracy and giving your guys a certain bonus.
Really? I did not know. That's awesome.
And see, that for me means that they're trying to make it more realistic. They're trying to make it more strategic, which is what your hardcore gamer is looking for. And I think it's what a lot of your hardcore Call of Duty gamers are looking for, is something more strategic.
Well, let's talk about this, though. Here's my concern. Like, Call of Duty's failing has always been its servers. I mean, above all else, the fact that they don't have dedicated servers, they're making $1 billion off of each game they sell, and we're still stuck playing on a one bar with some guys from Japan who think it's cool to sit in the back of the map with Ghost and a FAMAS. Hey, let's keep this non-racist. No, here's the thing, though. I love Japanese people. Screw you guys. No. The thing is, like, you have to deal with really bad connections so often. Whereas with Battlefield, the challenge is the way the game feels, right? With Battlefield, for me, my issue is not so much, connection, which dedicated servers are epic. They keep the game pretty much on a level playing field. But the issue I find is that with 30 frames a second, A, everything feels slower. B, without sleight of hand, things are challenging. And C, my biggest issue with Battlefield is one that most people don't seem to talk about, and that's the weight of the game. All right, when you feel how the game actually has a weight to the guns, like Call of Duty, when you're running, you can feel the weight of the gun, right? With Battlefield, I feel like I'm carrying styrofoam all the time, and that's my only major issue with Battlefield right now is styrofoam guns, and I hate that.
Yeah. Okay. So
I had the same issue with World at War for that matter, though.
Yeah. So Joseph, you said you have not played any Battlefields.
Well, can I just butt in real quick? The Battlefield, is that a new map for Modern Warfare 3? Okay, I have nothing to add.
You troll.
Okay, so let's take what you think could be put into Call of Duty. What are your hopes and dreams with Battlefield 3? What would make it better? What would make it destroy Call of Duty?
If there were a little arcade machine within it that you could actually play Call of Duty.
All right, that's great.
I'm a fanboy for life. I'll never let COD die. I'll be 45. I'll be on COD 4 quickscoping. You guys can find me in like 30 years, dude. I'll be playing COD 4 till I die.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's pretty much all we can add to that topic. I think that pretty much rounds it off. So we're actually coming up on the end of our episode 14 of Pardon the Dashboard with Ukrainian Limbs. Do you have anything else you want to add before we cut out?
No, I think first I just want to say I really appreciate what you do with this part on the dashboard. I think it's one of the coolest things going on, and I really appreciate all the effort you put, and the concept overall is great. So thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming by. Eric?
Guys. Cheers, guys. It was a pleasure indeed.
All right. As I say with all Part in the Dashboards, it's a group effort. So if you're watching the live stream, please go by to the YouTube video when it comes out, because that thing takes me like 10 hours of editing. So it's super appreciative to me. And Ukrainian Limbs is stroking something on the limb, on the camera. I don't know what that was. But also we have sponsors. I know that's a new concept, but please check them out because without our sponsors, part of the dashboard is really not going to be possible on a weekly basis the way that it is now. So that's all I have here. I hope you all enjoyed episode 14. This is Sergeant Merrill out here.
We could talk about Shaquille O'Neal retiring and my possession of Kazam, the book. Bet you didn't even know this was in book form.
I didn't even know.
Okay, dramatic reading. And on the fourth day, the Lord said, "Thou shalt box out." Oh, God.
No, keep going, man. This is good. This is good until I get ready.
As it happened, Kazam was on a date. He had agreed to make Asia Moon a lunch. They were eating at the hip, crowded spot at a United Station grill. Kazam was doing his very best to impress this vision of beauty sitting across the table. He couldn't ever remember being so nervous. Except for that one time in the fourth quarter, late in the Laker game, when Kobe was hitting threes from the outside and Derek Fisher was pressing the point. He shook it off and went back to the table. Okay, I'm done.